Hey, it's Lee here from Simplify Adulting, and today we are going to talk about three things that get us stuck and three things we can do to get unstuck. So, stuck is that feeling of, hey, I want to go do this. I want to, you know, change where I'm at. And for some reason, I just can't get the energy or the gumption, whatever word you want to use. And I just feel stuck. And sometimes that can be a small feeling of stuck, and sometimes it can be a big feeling of stuck. But regardless, there are typically three things that are driving that stuckness. And the first one is the good old what if game. When we think about doing something new, trying something different, there's just something that makes our little brain go, what if? And it's the what if this goes wrong? What if this doesn't happen? What if? And it's on the negative side. And some of the best advice I've ever gotten in my life is this: if you're going to play the what if game, you got to play it on both sides. So we're going to naturally go to that negative what if. And to counteract that and get unstuck, we have to play the what if it goes great? What if I love that thing that I want to try? What if I meet amazing new people? What if it's a great opportunity? What if I apply for that job and I learned something great and new? I meet a new network. What if I get the job? What if I love that job? Right? Because you know what? We don't know. So why go to the negative? What if all these great things could happen? And once we do that, guess what? We tend to get unstuck. Another really common thing to keep us stuck is that the fact that we have this fear of judgment that kicks in. And it's that little voice in our head that in reality is just trying to keep us safe. Don't change, don't change. And when we think about changing, it kicks up things. And one of the things it kicks up is this fear of judgment. What will people think of me? What will happen if it's not exactly what I thought it was? What all these things. What if people think this about me? And so there is a great little simple tool to get unstuck from fear of judgment. Whatever that thing you're most worried about being judged about, take that word. For me, it's incompetent. This idea just can hook me. This idea of, oh my God, what if somebody thinks I'm an idiot? Ugh. So what you need to do is when we have that, whatever the word and the different situation could pull up different little stuck words for us, right? That fear. I want you to take that word. I want you to write it down. So I'd write down incompetent. And then I would say, you know what? I'm going to own it. I am going to be incompetent. I am incompetent. And then what you start to do is start to think about really honestly, what if you're just owned that? What does that mean? And so for me, when I wrote this down about incompetent, what came to me was, well, let's see, if I'm incompetent, I don't have the pressure of having to have all the answers. That kind of feels good. If I'm incompetent, it means there's stuff to learn. I love to learn. I love to learn new things. If I'm incompetent, it probably means it's going to be really important to have other people in my life that can help me figure stuff out. And guess what? I love doing that. And so all of a sudden, this idea, when I really owned it and really just thought, well, what does incompetent mean? It allowed that fear of that judgment to slip away because all of a sudden I'm like, so what? And guess what? There are tons of areas where I am incompetent. So you can even think about that, like astrophysics. If you want something done in astrophysics, don't come to me. I am completely incompetent. And I will tell you, there's something I was working on with colleagues, and I had to say to them, part of this project, and I was like, you know what? That's not my thing. That's not where I bring value. So I'm not the person you should be. I can help and I can give input, but this person over here, that's their lane. And wow, it was just so removing stress. And also, it helped everyone because I wasn't trying to be competent in something that I wasn't. So just own it and watch the fear of that judgment disappear. Now, the last thing that I think is really big is this: when we have something that we want to go do, something different, something new, it could be small, it could be big, is this idea of like, just can't get off go, procrastination. It's often whatever it is, just is too big of a step. So we have to break it down. And this is a great example I would think of is, I'm used to run a lot. And if I wanted to take on a new distance of running, I wouldn't go try to run a marathon the next day, right? It was, okay, I'm going to run, maybe for 10 minutes if I've never run before. I'm going to try to run, then I'm going to work up to 15 minutes. But when I just say, hey, I'm going to do this big thing, I'm going to run a marathon, even if it's a year away, I'm going to run a marathon in a year, it's still too big. And so what happens is, because we just can't quite figure out the map from what I want, from where I am to what I want, is it gets us stuck. And so what we have to do is take that big thing, that bigger goal, and break it down and just make it smaller. And they don't have to be big, huge things. I want to start making dinner 5 times a week. And guess what? If you get stuck, I want you to go, that's a big leap for me. No judgment. I'm going to start with making dinner 1 time a week. And if that gets you unstuck, yes, that's success. So there you go. 3 things that keep us stuck and 3 things to counteract them. And so if you love this, I would love that if you would hit the subscribe button, and please keep checking us out for new content on our channel. And then also, really important, I need you to stress less, have more fun, and keep it simple.